Entry 1, February 15th, 2013. My name is Dillon Frankenstein, and it's been about a year since the tragedy at Balboa High. Now, as you can see, there are a pair of feet here, and you're probably wondering what is going on. Well, it's been about a year since the tragedy, as I said, and one of my most dear friends, Joshua Connolly, passed away from the self-destruction of not having a Valentine date. Yeah. Anyways, his brain was left around up there. I'll show you another time. But I plan on collecting the very instruments of life and infusing them with a spark. And luckily, I will create something from this lifeless being. Okay, entry number 2. It's April 20th, 2013, and luckily I found a pair of thighs. Journal entry 3. I found the torso, and as you can see in that very box, the torso is in there, and I decided to go big or go home, and I, found the crotch to the lifeless being that I will be creating. Anyways, I decided to encase it with these gray pair of shorts that my dad used to wear, and I guess they don't fit too well. Okay, journal entry log 4. It is November 2014. It's been about 2 years and I haven't even gone outside. I'm starting to have very awful nightmares. I'm seeing a lot of people that I just don't want to, and it's been rough. But I set it up, and today is the day. Today is the big day where we see if my project or my old friend will come to life. Let there be life! What ideas and motifs formed the themes when mirroring the two stories of Mary Shelly's Frankenstein and Rime of the Ancient Mariner?
Hey, how you doing, y'all?
How's everyone doing today?
I'm good. How's it going, guys?
It's chill, dude. Like, alright.
Alright, who wants to start? Who wants to open up?
So, I guess I'll start. So, in Frankenstein and Rime of the Ancient Mariner, they mirror off, like, knowledge, because in Frankenstein, Frankenstein is addicted to knowledge when he creates Frankenstein. And in Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the mariner, on the other hand, has to deal with knowledge because he has to educate people around him when he needs help. Yep.
Alright, yeah, I agree with Ralph. The Rime of Ancient Mariner and Frankenstein has a lot to do with knowledge. But another key thing is, to me, desolation, where Victor is constantly tormented by how he's always alone, and he always feels guilty, and he's constantly trying to be in touch with the human race, you know. And in the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, he's Walter is constantly shielded away from society, being in the ocean alone with his crew, you know, all dead and or knocked out, but not, you know. What do you think about that, Dylan?
I think those are great ideas, but what I really thought was how in Rime of the Ancient Mariner you're given this, I don't know if we can consider him, but I guess the protagonist, the mariner, the man who gives the knowledge, and I feel that there's this whole reference, I guess the allusion in Frankenstein to the mariner is two characters actually. I feel like the two characters of how there's the scientist, or the Victor Frankenstein, and then he has the creator. And then these two characters are kind of like the split differences that, but like if they, fuse together, they would be the Mariner. Because they both have it in ways like the Mariner did. How like he was, how, like Rolf said, knowledge was like increasingly, playing a part throughout the story, and how knowledge goes both ways. For example, in Frankenstein's life, knowledge was given through how he continuously researched his experiment, and how the more close he got to this experiment, the closer he was to having that, the tragic events that happened in his life. And the creation, the more, when he finds the journal, the more knowledge he gains, the more he starts to kind of like think to himself, am I worthy of even like being on this planet? He sees that the people around him are like, way more pure and better looking. He just questions himself, so.
So, what do you think would be your motif or idea?
I would say knowledge versus fear plays a huge part.
Okay. What about you, Dre?
What I feel is that they both go against nature. In the ancient mariner, Walton, he goes against nature and bites him in the butt. You know what I mean? His ships get stuck in the middle of the ocean, and he's left alone. And then on top of that, Frankenstein, we have him, who's trying to like replicate a creation of what God did. When God created man, he created something good. He created something beautiful, and I am man. And then on top of that, he created something. Frankenstein ended up creating a monster, which was ugly and it wasn't acceptable, and the humankind didn't even like it. He tried to make it beautiful and stuff, and that wasn't the case. And then he neglects what he created, which was nature. So he goes against that, and it turns out to be that the creation wants to kill him and things around him because he shows such no emotion towards them at all in any certain type of way, which isn't good, and he suffers from that at the end of the book. So they both go against nature. And then I also have some quotes on page 44 from the Frankenstein and from the Ancient Mariner. So I have one says, Victor wandering the streets after his creation, irregular step, not daring to look about. And that was on page 44. He's in fear that the monster might never appear. So when he created it, like he didn't know. And then in the Ancient Mariner, because he knows frightful friend, the close behind him, tend. These are like two quotes that kind of are similar, I feel. Okay. And that's what I feel about.
Okay.
Well, I agree with Dre, nature has a really big aspect in both, Mary Shelley goes into great detail when Henry and Victor are traveling in the European countryside. And obviously, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner has a prediction towards nature, the oceans, water snakes, and which pretty much leads to the main idea in which the appearance of nature is in.
So, what do you think the main idea is?
Well, I think I'll just go back to knowledge, because to me it's all about knowledge,
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree upon that. Knowledge is a huge idea in both of these stories because in Frankenstein, the more the creature found out about himself, the more unhappy he found he was with himself. So my theme was knowledge is dangerous. It is it could corrupt you, but whether to let it affect you is up to you. To let it affect you in a negative way is up to you. All right. So You guys want to speak anything about anything else real quick? We got like a minute left.
Alright, well, pretty much all I had.
So,
Well, there's this one scene in the Rime of the Ancient Mariner where, after he kills the albatross, he's cursed and his whole shipmates die. And then the ghost ship comes and he's pretty much learning a lesson to not, toy with this albatross he killed. And I don't know, you can really see the similarities between the two stories because Victor toyed with life and death, and the same thing is happening in Rime of the Ancient Mariner when these two divine-like beings are playing a board game over life and death. So death is life and death also huge motifs. Life and death also huge motifs.
okay, so what can we say about all these different motifs? Is knowledge is dangerous as well as messing with nature.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think messing with nature just basically is what pulls everything together, It's like the motor that keeps this thing going, Yeah, because Frankenstein tried to mess with nature through creating that monster, and Walter or Walton or whatever tried to mess with nature, trying to go to the North Pole and whatnot. That's how I feel.
Okay, so guess we're running out of time here. So good talk, guys. Alright, stop recording.
All right, peace out, y'all.